As you may have seen, I have now done a review for the Vader's Castle map and a bit of a ranking for the Arena Pass skins. So today it's only right that I do a bit of a review for K-A0S, the brand new KX series hunter into the game. But before I do get into that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with the notification bell turned on so that you don't miss out on any more Star Wars Hunters content. So there are two main categories that I want to discuss, like the Vader's Castle one. This one is essentially just the overall gameplay, and the second is then overall visuals and audio. So from a gameplay perspective, I found K-A0S a lot of fun to play. I really wasn't expecting her to be both melee and ranged, so it's definitely been quite a nice change up to be able to have that, because it feels a bit like Utuni in a sense of you've got the ranged weapon and then you've got the short range stuff as well. Obviously with Utuni they're both guns essentially, whereas K-A0S obviously her ranged is a gun and her short is a melee. So that's been really fun and honestly super satisfying, like using her melee abilities and actually using the shields as her weapons. That has been super satisfying. Like each impact feels proper and it just feels clean. Like I feel like they've done a really good job with that. And her abilities just are really fun to use as well, especially the one that's like a bit of a slap with the shield. I found that quite fun, and especially on maps where you can actually fall off the edge and die, that's been so fun to just try and knock people off of it. I have done that once or twice before now, so that's always a fun little challenge to set myself, especially when I'm in that room in Vader's Castle. And her ultimate is a lot of fun as well, but it really is about timing it, because I've used it a couple of times now quite wastefully where I see 4 people, my eyes light up, but unfortunately I've been knocked away or stunned by Sentinel, so it has just been wasted. So I think that's definitely been something as well with K-A0S. She's a lot harder to learn, I think, than Aaron. I've definitely struggled a bit with K-A0S at the moment. I'd say Aaron kind of fits my playstyle quite a bit in that, you know, you can just jetpack around, get in and out of places and just be quite aggressive, whereas K-A0S isn't quite the same. Obviously she is a tank, but I think I just need to rethink my strategies a little bit, or actually just come up with a strategy for her, because I don't really have one. But then I'm not really an uber competitive player, so why would I really? But I also do want to win. When I'm playing as her, she does feel fairly well balanced, but when I'm against her, honestly I find it so difficult to defeat K-A0S sometimes. I was playing a game earlier as Aaron and it was just so tricky. I feel like K-A0S is someone that as an opponent you definitely benefit from having multiple people attacking her at once, because with that 325 health on the shield and then quite a bit of health anyway, it does take a long time to get her down. So I do kind of like the fact that Sentinel stun will take her down, because from an opponent's perspective it makes it easier, but me as someone who's not very good as K-A0S at the moment, it obviously does make it even more of a challenge. So from a gameplay perspective I am really enjoying her, but I am definitely finding her quite tricky. So there's definitely quite a lot for me to learn with K-A0S at the moment, which I am definitely looking forward to doing. And naturally I think once I level her up to max level I will benefit quite a bit more with the upgraded abilities, so I'm definitely looking forward to that grind. Moving on now to more of the visual and audio side of things, honestly I'm really happy. KX droids have been around in Star Wars now for a number of years, first introduced in Rogue One back in I think 2016 with K-A0S, so there's not ultimately a huge amount you can really do with a KX droid, especially as like a default appearance. So I feel like they've done a really good job in giving K-A0S quite an interesting backstory with the whole Groz ripping her arms off, because it means that then the developers have obviously a lot more freedom in the design. But I feel like what they've come up with works really nicely, and I'm actually really interested to learn more of the story, because yes, okay, Groz ripped her arms off, but where, why, how did K-A0S get her new arms, and so on. So I think there's a lot we can learn there, which I'm really keen to see. And then as for the audio stuff, all of it is just so good. The noises she makes when she's just walking around or hitting something are just super satisfying. It's really immersive and it just ultimately sounds like a KX droid, and I just think the audio team there have done such a good job with that. And as I said earlier, like the gameplay for her is really satisfying when she's using her clubs, for example, or her shields even. Because of the audio as well, it just makes every hit feel so impactful. So I feel like K-A0S has a super interesting design and story. The audio is fantastic, but then as for her cosmetics as well, they are just honestly insane. I've done a video on her cosmetics already in the game, but they are honestly just so cool. Obviously there's like, you know, the recolors and whatnot, which are actually quite interesting to be fair compared to others, but it's mostly when it gets to those epic and especially legendary skins where it just really takes off. They are honestly some of my favourite cosmetics in the game, and I really cannot wait to go and unlock them, because I feel like they really have done such a great job, especially with the General Grievous stuff. Like, those General Grievous shields are just gorgeous. The fact that K-A0S then herself has a costume based on General Grievous when he was still like an actual normal Khaleesian, not a cyborg, that completely blew me away, because I really was never expecting to see something like that, especially this early on in the game as well. That's just great to see, and honestly I'm just so excited to see what other cosmetics she'll get in the future, because they really have done such a good job. So overall, I'm really happy with K-A0S. I think she's a great introduction to the game. I think it's still a bit too early for me to be able to think she's OP or underpowered or anything like that. I don't think she is. I think she is pretty well balanced, and like I said, she fits really well into the roster. Her gameplay is super satisfying and fun. Her cosmetics are incredible, but there's definitely quite a steep learning curve, which I'm going to have to learn there. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm just ultimately glad K-A0S is finally in the game after about 2 to 3 years of knowing about her. But that's about it. All we knew was the name and that she was a KX droid. So to finally have a face to that name is awesome, and I'm very excited to see what new hunters are to come in the future. That is it from me today though. Let me know in the comments what you think about K-A0S and this new season. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the force be with you always.